Well, good morning. Hi, I'm Astrologer Penny Dix, and welcome to everyone, whether it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening. For me, it's evening, and we've got a heat dome in Europe. But welcome to the 1st of July. And here we are for the live month ahead look at what's going to happen this month, at the astrological observations of the energies to see what may unfold in the forthcoming 4 weeks. So, what is happening this week? And how is everybody? And where is everybody? There's only one of you here. Oh, no, 6 now. Hello. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. So this month we have sexy signals. You're listening. Thank you. Love your pseudonym. Love your alias. Thank you. It's good to know it's actually being received. Hi, Wishing Pool Tarot. I think we better do a card for the month at the end as well. So let's have a look. July. We've had some crazy energy going on over. Hi, Sil. Good to see you. So we've had some crazy energy going on, but this month things change considerably. I think we're going to really notice a shift in the energies because, hi, Cosmic BL, Liz the Iron Maiden, good to see you. So we're really going to notice a shift in the energies, mainly because, of course, we're building up to this huge event, which is our planet of innovation, rebellion, freedom of speech, the unexpected, technology, and all sorts of unusual phenomena. Uranus moves into Gemini. Now, this is going to be big shift in energies because Gemini is an air sign and Uranus rules Aquarius, which is also an air sign. So Uranus is very comfortable in the air sign of Gemini. So we really, hi Anne Burke. So we really are going to see quite a big significant shift in the energies because Uranus has not been comfortable in the sign of Taurus. Now, Uranus is actually going to move into Gemini on the 7th. I am going to do a separate video, including your zodiac signs, time-stamped, to tell you about more in depth about the energy of Uranus in Gemini. But let's see what else is going on this month, because there aren't a lot of particular aspects in that sense. We have, I mean, if I look through the headlines, the 4th of July, which is Friday, which of course is Independence Day in the United States. Karuna Engineer, hello. Sharon, good to see you. Janice, it's a beautiful day here in sunny Gozo, a bit cooler than under the heat dome that they have in Europe, where it's going up to 40 Celsius, which is very hot, in the hundreds Fahrenheit, that is. So Karuna Energy Engineer, namaste from India. It's horrendous in the UK, is it? I know. The UK and heat can't cope. The UK and cold can't cope. The UK and rain can't cope. The UK and snow can't cope. Oh, and the UK and strong winds can't cope. So thank you, Karuna. So listen, July the 4th is the first day this week when we have some interesting energies at least, and I will do a separate astrobite for this. We've got namely Venus conjunct Uranus. Now, for those of you looking for romance or excitement in your love life, Venus conjunct Uranus could certainly bring some surprising developments. So be aware of that, because the energy will be building up over the next couple of days, probably from tomorrow. So they are actually going to be at the anaretic degree of Taurus at 29 degrees and 52 minutes. Now, why that's a big deal is because the anaretic degree of any zodiac sign is like it's doubly underlined in red crayon and supercharged with energy. So any planet that touches that point, lingers there, or conjoins with another point at that degree, or makes an aspect to another planet, also at an anaretic degree, is supercharged with energy. So, hello from Kavala, Greece. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Kiki Law, gracious greetings to you too. Uranus will remain in your 7th house. You're using tropical Placidus. So if you're looking at it just sign by sign, you will notice a difference. So if you know your chart well, even though Uranus may not change houses straight away in your particular chart, if you use tropical Placidus or any of the other systems, unless you use equal house, where each segment of our round cosmic cake is just one particular sign, then but the thing is, if let's say you've got Uranus in the 7th house and it's been in Taurus in the 7th house, but part of your 7th house is Gemini, you're going to notice a shift in the energies to do with relationships, because the 7th house is about relationships when Uranus moves into Gemini. And what we're going to be getting this year is a flavor of what's to come over the next 7 to 8 years, because Uranus will, in fact, and let me just go to my notes, Uranus will retrograde on the September the 6th, and it will have only reached 1 degree and 27 minutes of Gemini, and it will re-enter Taurus on November the 9th, 2025, and then go direct in Taurus on February the 4th, 2026, and then it re-enters Gemini on the 27th of April, 2026, and then it will be there for the next 7 years. So don't worry, Catherine, about me talking about the 7th house. I'm just using it as an example, but basically what we will get with this energy. Thank you, Liz. Yes, I'm quite cool today. I'm quite cool. Hi, Amac. Good to see you. Quirty Quirt, haven't seen you for a while. You caught a wild penny live. Yes, I'm live. I think so anyway. Yes, I'm alive. I'm alive. And so the astrological impact of Uranus in Gemini will show radical shifts in the way we communicate, the way we think. It will show up in technology, education, transport, and how we connect to society in general. Because remember, Uranus is the planet of awakening, innovation, rebellion, and disruption. So it's moving into a sign that is all about duality, as well as networking, language, social media, all the social media platforms, YouTube, all things like this. We could see some new kind of platforms coming to the fore and knocking some of the old ones out of the way. Oh yes, happy Canada Day, 1st of July. I've just remembered. Thank you for reminding me, Cosmic BL. Happy Canada Day. So, oh, thank you. Nice nails. I love these live chats too, Catherine. I really enjoy them. I always look forward to them. So let's just look at the last time that Uranus was in Gemini, because that gives us a little bit of a glimpse as to what we might expect this time. And really, Uranus in Gemini is the backdrop for all the other energies that are playing out during the month of July. So it really is setting the scene. And the Venus-Uranus conjunction at the anaretic degree of Taurus on the 4th of July is kind of bringing in this lovely energy of unexpected joy, unexpected money, because Venus can represent finances and money and value. Maybe someone will unexpectedly pay you a really nice compliment. I mean, that's nice when it comes out of the blue. And maybe Friday is a good day to buy a lottery ticket. I mean, one of us will be lucky, but won't be me because I probably won't buy a lottery ticket. But there we go. Nice everything all the time. Well, I do my best. I enjoy it. So I think we're going to see with this, I was talking about what happened the last time we had Uranus in Gemini, and it was from 1941 to 1949. And this was during and after World War II. Now, this, of course, brought a massive global upheaval and huge technological advancement, especially in aviation, which was a necessity during that time of war. We also saw, of course, sadly, the culmination of all this energy was when they dropped the bomb at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And Uranus is uranium. So it is interesting that that energy was around. And I think what we have to think about now, Liz, Iron Maiden, bless you. Thank you, my love. Liz has just donated to the channel. It will go towards the kitties' treats, but thank you so much. Really appreciated. And really, with Uranus in Gemini, I think what we've got to sort of be mindful of on a personal level is not to get too carried away with our thinking and getting up into this higher mind, but to get into the higher mind that is connected with the higher frequencies of advanced understanding of how our intuition works. Oh, bless you, Catherine. Don't worry, the thought is there, and that is always very much appreciated. So really, it's interesting that at the moment, of course, we're in a period of dis-ease with the planet, with the potential, we've had the rhetoric about and mutterings of World War III and all this sort of, doom and gloom and some pretty, frightening, traumatic experiences happening. Now, how is Uranus in Gemini going to change that or affect it? Well, as I always say, intend the best, actually, and accept the best. Because if we don't intend and accept the best or expect the best, how can we attract it into our lives? So, it's what will Uranus in Gemini bring us this time? Well, I want to just remind the people in America watching that you will be having your Uranus return in your natal chart of America. And the first time, or at least the time before 1941, I think, or one of the times before when Uranus was in Gemini, was the start of the American Civil War. And several states broke away from the Union. And it is interesting that similar energies are around at this time. It doesn't mean that the same things will unfold because, forewarned is forearmed. And maybe, if world leaders do use astrologers, which would be wonderful to think they might actually listen to something a little bit on the fringes of what is normally accepted by the sort of the normal paradigm, then, they would be advised to learn from the past and not make the same mistakes again, that Uranus is actually giving us an opportunity to do it differently this time, to make it different, to make it all right. So, hi, Alan, good to see you here. And Jim, hello. Oh, complimenting the sun. It's my Leo ascendant, but thank you, Jim. I appreciate the lovely compliment. Thank you. So I think in our own lives, because unless you're 84, you won't have experienced Uranus in Gemini before. It's about enjoying the innovative and imaginative and unusual thinking and thought processes that can come in for us, and that actually we can use that energy to connect ourselves to these higher frequencies, so that, you know, explore things like remote viewing. Just try it. Just think, it's like you could have an agreement with a friend and say, when you go down to, I don't know, the cafe on the corner later, just look around and think of me and send me images of who's here, of what it looks like, of what's going on. And then you, as the receiver or the remote viewer, endeavor to tune in to see if you can pick up what your friend has seen. That way you can compare. And I believe the more we try and do this, the more we will actually be able to do it. And, you know, it's the same principle as telepathy in that sense, because I do really feel that we are so close to the physics of telepathic communication being explained. And that is possibly going to be a result of not just Uranus in Gemini, but also Pluto in Aquarius over the next 20 years, that it will become clear of how, we are able to make these connections from my mind to your mind. So we are living in extremely interesting, exciting times, in spite of all the terrible dramas which we cannot belittle or demean that are unfolding on the planet. And we have to somehow hold the space for these things to be around and not allow ourselves to give them fear energy, but to give them peace, healing, and intend all those positive feelings into that situation. So I think we're going to see advances in AI. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I think it depends how we use it. And I think it's about using it wisely and not being afraid of it, but actually just tuning in and thinking, well, this is interesting. How can I actually make this work for me in a positive way? That's an interesting comment, Liz, that with all the big pharma drugs and additives in our water and foods, we've all lost our telepathic gifts. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not disputing that there may be devious things that go on with our food and water. Absolutely. I'm fully aware of that. But the human brain is capable of adapting and of waking up. And Uranus is the planet of awakening. And it will wake up those parts of the brain that have not been firing on all cylinders. I have absolute faith that the body adapts to the situation, the environment that it finds itself in. We're smart cookies, us human persons, beings, doings. Hi, Parry, good to see you. And Yes, okay, Liz, good point about the pineal gland being calcified, but I still think we can adapt. I refuse to buy in to the fact that, the powers that be are dumbing down society, because I am determined with my strong Taurus energy to break through that. And Uranus wants us to break through that. So we can break through it. Absolutely. Mind over matter. We just have to choose. We are not being controlled. We can be the control. And that's the whole point of what's going on with Pluto in Aquarius. It's the breaking down of the old agenda, of the old regime. And this is Uranus in Gemini. This is us being given the chance to actually choose to walk away and say, I'm not buying into that. I'm not going to be part of that. I'm going to go completely organic and find soil and compost where I can grow my foods healthily in a healthy way, do it as part of a community. I have no doubt there will be a big move with people towards more community sharing and growing, and a kind of return to the good old days. And yet, in many ways, it will be a huge leap forward. I love that wishing pool tarot. Your beautiful sun is a Taurus, most determined bugger on the planet. Oh, I am. My horns. Cosmic BL, earphones can damage the brain if worn too long. Same with too much time spent on the cell phone. Yeah, I agree. And so we have to be responsible. We have to choose to not let ourselves be dominated by these things. I rarely use earphones. I don't have to. I'm lucky because I live alone, so I don't have to protect what I'm hearing from anybody else. I can just listen to what I want to listen to. And I'm really curious how I automatically and instinctively with this, I will never take a call like this. I hold it down here because I just feel, and I trust my feelings, that I don't want whatever energy comes out of this to go into my head. Same with, I won't put it on my body anywhere or rest it anywhere on my body. I always put it to one side. And I think this is just being mindful, and maybe it's intuitively understanding that we do have choice, and we can have some element of control over these things. Thank you, Liz. And yes, Catherine, I think water will be an issue, but water is intelligent. Remember the work of Veda Austin, and water has consciousness, and water will make sure it survives and is here. And because we are but a parasite living on our beautiful planet Gaia, if we muck Gaia up too much, she will get rid of us and start again. And you know what? Gaia will recover and she will be fine. And we won't be here. And then the whole cycle will start again. Because I think that may have happened many, many times in the past. And I do think, does everything have consciousness, you're asking, Cosmic BL? Yes, I would say so. Including this. The material that makes it up has consciousness. So actually, even though it sounds pretty bonkers, I would talk to this and say, can you make sure you don't, that you block your negative energies and stop them going into my physical body? If we don't ask, we don't get. And you're right, Parry, every single thing is a vibrational frequency. All matter, as Parry is saying, is always changing and evolving. And yes, it does have resonance. So you see, there is a lot of interesting stuff that is coming out about this Uranus in going into Gemini, but I am going to do a separate astrobite about that. Everything, Jim, yes, everything is made of consciousness, everything. And also on the 4th, Neptune will go retrograde in Aries. And this is part of a huge shift. I'm just not going to have enough time tonight to talk about everything that is going to happen in July. So I'm going to cut to the chase and try and give you little tiny bites of what's happening and save the important nuggets for the astrobites. Because also on the 4th, Venus enters Gemini. The 4th of July, Venus enters Gemini. And then I've told you about Uranus. And then by the 10th of July, we have the first of this month's lunations with the full moon in Capricorn. Now, this is quite, it's on the 10th. Now, this is quite a unassuming, gentle full moon. It's Capricorn, which is a bit stoic and stern, and it prunes. There's a little bit of pruning that has to go on with the full moon in Capricorn, but the moon itself is not actually making any particular aspect to anything. So the most significant aspect, which I did actually record the full moon video today, so that'll be up by the weekend on my channel. And the significant aspect that is happening as a kind of backdrop to this full moon is that Neptune recently turned retrograde and Saturn are a degree apart in Aries, sextiling Pluto. And that is actually an ongoing backdrop of energy that we're going to have, which is innovative and putting structure into dreams that we can transform and make into reality. So this is the backdrop almost of July, of this wonderful energy that can really, really transform everything. Parry, drink fresh, clean water often and imagine the love and glory of life unfolding. Absolutely. And also, Parry and everyone, remember the experiments that the Japanese professor, the water guy, did with water, how, you know, this water, supposing it isn't tap water, it's from a bottle, because Malta tap water is not great. It doesn't taste very nice. Now, this water, if it's come from somewhere where I think is I don't know, just contaminated with sort of negativity, I can intend it. I can set my intentions into it to nourish me, to hydrate me, I can change with my thoughts the makeup of the water. They've proved this in science. You know, this Japanese professor proved that you can change the structure of the molecules of water just by sending it love. So I love that, Liz. You've got positive words on your water jug: love, health, faith, and protection. Yeah, and we do need to drink water. It's our life force. It's as valuable as blood. It's the blood of the planet. Without water, nothing exists. Yes, Jim, the power of intent. And all of you in the Northern Hemisphere, especially anyone in Europe that is under the heat dome and in the UK, or anyone who is in the United States or Canada, if you're having extremely hot weather conditions, remember to keep hydrated and intend hydration and positivity into the water you're drinking. Just look at it. It'll know. It'll pick up. It'll pick up that you're sending it love and intention as I do that to my water. So the full moon will be up on my channel soon. And then as we move on, and with the full moon, it is going to be time-stamped, so you will get each of your zodiac signs. Oh, yes, big news. Mercury goes retrograde in Leo on the 18th of July. So here we have our famous and much awaited retrograde Mercury time. But waiting for the mothership. Haven't seen you for a while. Welcome. Good to see you. Last week it was 55 Fahrenheit. This week it's 98. Oh my God. Yes, it does need to make up its mind, doesn't it? And at least in Gozo, I know what it's going to do. In the winter, it's cold and damp. In the summer, it's hot and humid. And it pretty much stays like that. It'll be like this now till the end of October into November. And then it'll go cold and wet and damp. So Mercury. Now remember, Mercury retrograde is not to be feared. It can help us in Leo to kind of rethink how we express ourselves, because Leo is about positive expression. It's theatrical. It's out there, center stage. What's that you're saying, Cosmic BL? How is it that Scorpio doesn't need water, but it's a water sign? Good question. I can't remember, but there is a reason. There is a reason, and I actually can't remember. Somebody Google it. Why is Scorpio a water sign? I just can't remember. It's completely gone out of my head. That's a very good question. With astrology, there is so much information to retain. And I've only been learning for 30 years or nearly 40. And there's been gaps in that when I've not learned. So there's so much I still have yet to learn. And there's so much that I don't remember. Oh, Sil, that's interesting. Scorpions used to be underwater. Oh, interesting. Hi, Christine Jones. Oh, you've got 41 degrees. Oh, that's horrible. No, thank goodness here at the moment it's hovering around 30. So long may that last. Let me see. Yes, okay. So, yes, also the snake is another symbol of Scorpio, which is interesting, but it doesn't explain why it's a water sign. And there is a reason, and I can't remember, but there we go. That's totally thrown me, as you can see. And yes, and the water bearer for an air sign. Yes, it doesn't kind of, hi Mimini, it doesn't kind of correlate, does it? Doesn't kind of match up. But listen, Mercury retrograde, the pre-shadow period, which we need to know because this is when things can go wonky, starts on July the 5th. So that's Saturday. So that's when the pre-shadow period begins. And then the actual retrograde in Leo is on July the 18th till August the 12th, when it will station direct. But it doesn't end its shadow period until August the 26th. So we've got quite a big chunk of Mercury retrograde. Oh, Sil, let me have a look. Looked it up now just to be sure. So in old evolutionary times, there were giant sea Scorpios. Oh, interesting. Hi, Diva Diane. You made it better late than never. Absolutely. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'm having a sneaky meeting with Miss Diva Diane, which will be fun. And oh, Sil, that's interesting. You can find them in old fossils. Interesting. Well, I'll do another video at some point about the elements and the signs, and it'll do a little bit of a refresher for me about why we have the water, air, earth, fire, etc., and what has stipulated them being assigned these elements and qualities. But I learnt that right at the beginning and I've forgotten. So we have this Mercury retrograde, but remember, retrogrades can also bring opportunities to re-look at, readdress, rediscuss, and review. So yes, we can get the irritating things, but I don't know about anyone else, but I find that, we live with so much technology nowadays that technological stuff is going wrong all the time, or emails go amiss. I mean, I sent Jerry the video for the full moon, and it's showing sent and gone in my outbox, and he hasn't received it. And I don't know how all this unfolds or how it works. So, oh, you did a quick Google, but you didn't get a decent answer. Hey, Rebecca in Ohio. Good. I'm glad you're going to get some good weather. Parry, scorpions can still live in water. Yes, I think they probably can. I mean, they're certainly crustaceous, aren't they? Wishing Pool Tarot, Capricorn is also a sea goat. Yes, with a fish tail, but an earth sign. Your captain love the land and sea equally. That's interesting, Parry. Scorpions will sting themselves rather than dying in fire. Wow. It's okay, see me. Better late than never. So after we have the Mercury retrograde, as I say, there's not a great deal of energies, you know, in the sense of aspects. We do have on July the 13th, Saturn will go retrograde in Aries. So we have got this retrograde energy kicking in now. We will notice a general slowing down of events and everything that is happening at the moment. We've also got Chiron, our wounded healer, going retrograde. And that goes retrograde in Aries on the 30th of July, which is quite interesting. So just a general slowdown. And that's cool. That's fine. And on the 22nd, the sun, of course, will leave Cancer and move into Leo. And then we will be really in Leo season. And on the 24th, we get a new moon in Leo. Well, the new moon in Leo is actually quite an interesting lunation because, okay, wait for this. It's at 2 degrees and 7 or 8 minutes, roughly. And it's in opposition to retrograde Pluto at 2 degrees and 36 minutes in Aquarius. So this is a pretty powerful new moon. It's also trining that Neptune, Saturn, Aries retrograde motion of that backdrop of that conjunction. So what is all this going to unfold? Because also we've got Venus in Gemini at 22 degrees squaring Mars in Virgo at 21 degrees. So there is quite a lot to unpack with this particular lunation. So this is going to be an interesting new moon. And of course, new moons always herald new beginnings, and it's Leo, so it's about leadership. Are we going to see a sudden change in leadership? Good question, Christine. Does anyone this month, any July babies, have birthdays? Any of our soul fam have birthdays? Let me know, and we'll see what's going on for you. But you know, this new moon is quite powerful. And what's this, Parry? You lived in a place of wilderness and had many different types of things that were not friendly or good neighbors. Scorpions, snakes, and other creatures. Oh my goodness, that was, mind you, we get scorpions here in Gozo, but they're apparently not poisonous, because what's interesting is because Malta and Gozo are one of the most Catholic countries on the planet, interestingly, and yet the culture is interlinked with the Arabic cultures. They are part Arab, part European. So it is a very interesting culture, the Maltese culture. And the language itself has a spattering of Italian, of words that are kind of made up and handed down from ancient Phoenician languages, and Arabic. So there's a lot of Arabic words in the language of Maltese. And what's interesting is that when St. Paul got shipwrecked, apparently, on the islands of Malta and Gozo. The story goes there was a snake was coming into the camp, and he grabbed it and turned it into a staff, and he cast out all the poison from any poisonous animal on the islands of Malta and Gozo. He cast out the poisonous animals. So the scorpions we have here and the snakes we have here aren't poisonous. So it's interesting. And it's interesting, we're getting a lot of these, sort of discussions about our little insect friends. Oh my God, Simi, your father-in-law turns 95 on July 13th. Please wish him a happy birthday from the Soul Fam. Lola, so nodes are in Pisces and Virgo, and they are retrograding into Pisces. So the nodes, yes. So the nodes, just to let you know, are in Virgo and Pisces, and they move back through Pisces because they go counterclockwise. So they actually go back. They will end up in Aquarius and Leo ultimately, but they're not there yet, not for another about 6 to 9 months. And I grow cats. Yes, I've got loads of cats. Yes, it is interesting still about the background of the language. I mean, this is the thing with the planet, isn't it? And all the wars and the disputes about my God's the best God or whatever, and my culture's the best culture, because they're all actually interlinked. We're all a big soup. We're all actually joined together. And one of the things that we might start finding that people talk about more in July is the need to dissolve boundaries in general, the boundaries in countries, the actual sort of lines that say my country ends here and yours starts here. We may actually see that energy shifting, because that Saturn conjunct Neptune, it's like Saturn is the structures and the boundaries and the limits of the country. Neptune is dissolving it, is trying to make it disappear. Lola, someone asked about karma, so that's why you mentioned the nodes. Well, just as a rule of thumb, the South Node is about that which we bring in, or that which is coming in. So at the moment, collectively, because the South Node is in Virgo, it's bringing in much more energy around details and us looking back at what we perhaps haven't done that we should have done, in terms of got our numbers and figures and stuff in order. And the North Node in Pisces is where we're dreaming of going towards. We're just longing to get to that spiritual heaven where we know everything. We just know stuff. We know things. We see it. Just seeing, you're in the Everglades, Parry. How beautiful. How beautiful. Is that a battle of balance? Yeah, good point, Simi. I think it is. It is in that sense a battle of balance. So, if we then look on to what's happening towards the end of the month, because this Neptune Saturn that is building in its backdrop for the whole month of the dissolution of the old ways, of the religious and the traditional structures. It will be interesting to see how this plays out. I think around the new moon, we may see at the Capricorn full moon a leader fall from grace, so that by the new moon we have a new leader in place. That is a possibility with this kind of energy. So Christine, you're saying the animals are behaving strangely. Well, I suppose Cyprus is on the edge of earthquake zones, but it may also be what might be kicking off again in our war-torn areas. Fingers crossed, hopefully not. So the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which I'll do a separate video for, is more or less exact on the 31st of July. And the Sun is also conjunct Mercury in Leo that day, when, of course, Mercury is retrograde. And so the Saturn-Neptune, really this month, we're going to get a sense of what is going to unfold in February 2026, when Saturn and Neptune finally fully move into Aries and Pluto is firmly established in Aquarius. Jupiter is in Cancer. And then all we have to wait for is, I think it's April, when Uranus will finally arrive in Gemini. And then we will have a whole new ball game. And it's going to be absolutely fascinating. I mean, it's very difficult to not want to leap ahead to get into next year to see what's going to unfold. But, you know, I think it's so important that we don't lose sight of the present moment. And even though astrology is a wonderful tool and it shows us what can unfold and what we can prepare for, whether we need an umbrella or a sunshade, at the same time, we mustn't forget to live in the present. So knowing your daily astrology and what is happening with the moon, for example, and what is happening every day with what's going on, can really help to ground us and to help us. You know, if we don't live in the present, life will rush past too quickly. You know, sometimes we say to each other, good God, what happened to this year? It's half of it's gone already. But maybe that's because we keep thinking about what's going to happen instead of actually being here now in the present. Yes, Christine, I've noticed our soup is simmering away on the back burner. And that will be interesting to see, I think, next week when Uranus moves into Gemini, where the soup sun is, will be interesting to see what unfolds. But I do think that we have to really work on not getting carried away with what could or might unfold and stay within the boundaries, Saturn, of what is happening now, to give structure and form to the dreams we've got so that we can actually allow Pluto to give birth to them in Aquarius, in this wonderful future world environment that we can envision and have the foresight that it will come to us. So that's all I'm going to say about July, because I think it's you know, that there's so much with each of the individual sort of things that are happening with the retrogrades and this move of Uranus into Gemini that I don't want us to get bogged down and overwhelmed by the energy that is around us in July. But I do think this month will feel different. Will it feel better or worse? I don't know. It depends what's going on in your own life. You know, life is what we make it. But I do think we're going to be waking up. And I think we're going to be more on the ball. I think our thinking is going to sharpen up. And I think we're going to be much more aware of the paradox of our individuality connected to the whole. Because we have to remember that we are connected, we are interlinked with every other living being, consciousness, whether it's a stone, a phone, or whatever it is. We are linked to everything, whether that's electronically or physiologically and from our soul and psyche and intuition and these frequencies that we operate on. Christine, Steve Judd mentioned that the last 2 weeks of July could be challenging. That may be due to the new moon in Leo, and because Uranus will be firmly in his new house of Gemini. Also, of course, the Mercury retrograde. So, yes, it will be interesting to see what unfolds throughout July, not just the second 2 weeks, but it's always. Oh, Janice, you're right. St. Patrick, he took all the beasties out of Ireland, didn't he? So St. Paul did it here, and St. Patrick, of course, did it in Ireland, which is rather a lovely kind of mirroring of the situation. So listen, I'm going to come on to our word for the month. Then we're going to have our tarot card for the month. Now, the word I've chosen, because I thought this was really, really key for the Uranus into Gemini energy, is awakening. And this is spiritual awakening, emotional, mental, societal. These words evoke the feeling of waking up to deeper truth, clarity, purpose, and transformation. And that's what I feel Uranus's entry into Gemini is going to give us. It's going to be awesome. What's this? Steve Judd said we're in for a wild ride from the last 2 weeks of July until 2026. He could well be right. I tend not to look too beyond that. See me. You still can't shake that feeling of a huge paradigm shift coming soon. Yeah, I suspect we're just all feeling this energy building of the move from Gemini of Uranus into Gemini. And yes, I do think that we're going through a massive shift. It's already happening. It's already unfolding. And thank you, Lola. Yes, yes. St. Paul mirrored and St. Patrick mirrored each other. And oh, you've got the Wheel of Fortune. Actually, do you know what? That's perfect for July. That's beautiful. And you feel like karma is collecting its debts right now. And change, and maybe something fated. Restoration, interesting. I like that wishing pool. I'll come to the tarot in a minute. I want to do the quotes for the word of the month. So Deepak Chopra said, awakening is not changing who you are, but discarding who you are not. And I think that is a really important way to look at it. This is the Capricorn full moon, where we prune away that which we do not need to take with us into the future. And Marcel Proust said, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. And that is so Uranus in Gemini. We have to look with inner vision, with different vision at what's unfolding on the planet. And BKS Iyengar said, you do not need to seek freedom in a different land, for it exists within your own body, heart, mind, and soul. And just imagine, just supposing we are actually, each of us individually are part of a, like has been suggested before, a massive computer exercise game. And actually there is only us that we are aware of, and everything else is a reflection of what we think we see. That is something that I think is going to become much more wildly thought about with Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. I think it's going to be very interesting. Oh, that's interesting, Christine. The snakes were a reference to druids. Well, I suppose in the same way, maybe it was the same for Malta with the pagans, because St. Paul brought Christianity or Catholicism to the Maltese Islands. So in a sense, it was casting out the pagans. We've got all these temples here of, to the goddess, to the sun goddess. So Mary Oliver said, one day you finally knew what you had to do and began. Now, that, I think, will be what happens for all of us as Uranus moves into Gemini. And if you haven't got it by February next year or April next year, it'll come to you next year. Ramana Maharishi said, your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world. And this is so true, because the more each of us can wake up and understand our part in this grand cosmic plan. As everyone wakes up, we're like little flowers bursting into bloom. And then it's like somebody switches all the lights on. And then there's just trillions of us, quillions of awakened human beings. Hi, Heidi in Kansas. Well, we are bringing it to a close, but you can go and catch up. I just want to read you the last couple of quotes because they are quite interesting. Because let's see, Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Now, actually, Uranus moving into Gemini is a little bit like making the unconscious conscious, and Pluto in Aquarius. Ram Dass said we are all just walking each other home. And that's a truth. Pema Chodron said, nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. And then this one you will know, because this is Mahatma Gandhi, which is, the day the power of love overrules the love of power, the world will know peace. And so we are back to our vegetable soup, really, in that sense. So, Christine, you're so welcome. And let me see, there was, Simi got the King of Wands, okay. Wishing Pool Tarot got the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, Gozo is beautiful, but like all these places in the Mediterranean, it's getting horribly overdeveloped. And it's just such a shame, because the beauty that I remember, which is what drew me to live here, has basically disappeared. So it's sad. So let's see what our card for the month is. Okay. Oh, King of Wands. I think Simi had the King of Wands. So maybe there is going to be a strong, powerful man who stands up to be counted this month. And maybe it's also representing the strong, powerful, divine masculine within all of us that can stand up to the persecution by control of how we are not able always to feel that we have choice over what happens in our environment. Yes, Sil, peace, absolutely. We need peace. And maybe this is a world leader who will emerge from the shadows, who will help bring peace. Because, yes, Liz, nice synchronicity. And also, you know, the King of Wands is one of what I call one of the nice kings, because he's about growth. He's kind. He's got an inner strength, but he has compassion. He has wisdom, and he is able to make, you know, the things grow, things develop, things move forward. So who's got the Pope? They're all going too quickly. We have to become comfortable outside the box. Yes, absolutely. And pick the same card. Yeah, that is strange, Simi. That is strange. Oh, this one wanted to come as well. It was at the bottom and it just flew off. So I've also got Justice. So maybe the balance is going to start to be redressed. Oh, really, Diva Diane? That's interesting. 2 men put their names in the hat to be Prime Minister. This is in Malta. This is Maltese politics, because my friend, Miss Diva Diane, lives in Gozo. That's interesting. Yes, actually, that's a very good point, Christine Buckingham, that the Pope may inspire peace and kindness to the oppressed. It would certainly be a good thing. And yes, AMAC, overdevelopment is happening everywhere. And it is such a shame. It really is. It really is. And, you know, listen, guys, you are, as usual, all absolutely awesome. I'm going to bring things to a close. There will be plenty of videos coming up this month. And probably the next big one you'll see, I'm going to do Uranus conjunct Venus. And then I've got to do my Uranus moving into Gemini video. That's going to be a good one. So, hey, Soul Fam, you're all friggin' awesome. I love all of you. And I just want to say thank you so much for all the wonderful comments that you leave on the videos. You've probably noticed there's been quite a bit of spam, which has to mean the channel is doing well, with people going on about reading a certain book. And it's a call center and they just keep churning it out and churning it out. If you see them and I've missed any, I go in and I just report and delete. And you just go in and you just click on the 3 little dots at the side, report it as spam and delete. And that's the best way to deal with it. Oh, Diva Diane, bless you. Oh, thank you, sweetie. I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I looked it up on the map where you live, so I should be able to find you okay. You're all very welcome. You are all super welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, share. And I will be back on Sunday with the weekly forecast for the astrology for the week ahead, starting next week, which of course is going to be Uranus into Gemini. We'll be absolutely on that boundary then. And aloha from Maui. Good to see you. And Cynthia, you're so welcome. Thank you. Yes, it's Penny. All right, my loves. I'm going, and have a lovely day, afternoon, or evening, depending on what part of the planet you are living. Stay safe, keep happy, keep intending peace, and keep intending love. And we'll all do well with that. So, okay, you're welcome, Parry. Oh, bless you. It's my passion. I love doing it. And you know I can never stop wittering, can I? But I am going to stop wittering now. So, and I'm glad to see you're all right, Sil. Please make sure you stay in touch and let us know that you're continuing to be okay. And Christine Buckingham, oh, bless you. Yeah, good wishes to everyone. Right, I really am going to stop wittering now. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.